It's my pleasure to introduce our guest today. Nice to meet Aditya ji. Dr. Aditya is a trained medical doctor whose early career included serving in rural communities as a surgeon in St. Stephen's Hospital, and he worked in charitable clinics, free medical camps, and emergency care, bringing healing to communities that needed it most. Over time, his journey expanded from medicine to deeper holistic understanding of health and life. Today he serves as the Assistant Spiritual Director of Ananda Sangha India and is dedicated to sharing the yoga and meditation teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. Prior to that, he served as the Spiritual Director of Ananda Pune. He is internationally certified yoga teacher and an authorized Kriya Acharya, guiding seekers in Kriya Yoga. He regularly speaks across India and internationally, addressing themes such as stress management, holistic health, leadership, and yoga as a way of life. Please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Aditya. Nice to meet Aditya ji.
And so, before we get you started, hi Aditya, welcome to Texas. We're going to ask everyone to stand up here and turn your chairs and face. We have a large screen at the back of the room, and now we can see you and you can see us. So, just give us another moment to get settled. Okay, we are set here, so if you can unmute yourself.
Right, I have. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It was on our end. We never know. Okay, we
Absolutely.
hear you now.
Good morning, everybody. It's just wonderful to be with all of you. Maybe later, I can see four of you right now
Oh,
because of the position of how the camera is. But that's fine. Be comfortable where you're sitting. Later, perhaps we can all come together. It would be nice to see. Oh, yeah, there you go. Zoomed out view.
our
Good
techies back
morning.
there doing her thing. Yeah.
Wonderful. How
Nice.
nice. How nice to see you all, friends. Okay, so I read the mail more carefully later that your meditation happens before the discourse. So forgive me, I couldn't join for that. I came just about 7 minutes ago. But it's wonderful. Let's just start maybe with a minute of just silence, inviting Swamiji and the Masters to be with us in this discourse, especially as we all know, this is the year of Swamiji's centennial has begun. And so let's call to his presence. And I'd like to read just three lines on this subject of receptivity that Swami Kriyananda ji has shared. So let's sit upright. Just once or twice, tense and relax the body. Keeping the spine straight, lifting the gaze up. Let's mentally invite the masters to bless us at the heart, at the spiritual eye, and help us increase our receptivity day by day. And continuing to keep your eyes closed, let's listen to these few statements by Swami Kriyananda ji on the theme of receptivity. He writes, the most important step on the spiritual path is to make oneself receptive to divine guidance. He writes in another place, the essence of spiritual development is by deep calmness, humility, and love to increase our receptivity. And finally, he writes, the work of the spiritual aspirant is, above all, to receive God. Let's meditate on these lines just for a minute or so. And now we'll practice a very simple technique taught by Swami Kriyananda ji to receive and channel the divine qualities of any saint. In this case, we'll practice it for Master. And Swamiji said, think of one divine quality. Today we'll focus on joy or love. He says, first, invite and try to feel and receive that quality at your spiritual eye. Let's do that for a few moments. Next, he suggested that we feel that quality of joy beyond the spiritual eye throughout the brain. The next step is to draw that quality now throughout the length of the spine. Feel it throbbing, pulsating in your spine. Now, slowly, breath by breath, feel that divine quality of Master's joy and love saturating all your body cells, extending into the limbs, to the sides, front and behind, all around in the body and beyond. Let's feel this for about half a minute. And finally, now let's channel these qualities, serving as instruments, continuing to invite these qualities from Master into the spiritual eye, brain, spine. Let's rub our hands together, chanting Om 3 times. Send these qualities out into the world. Continuing to keep our hands upraised for a few moments. Feel that joy, that divine energy flowing through your palms out to everybody. Om Shanti Shanti. Welcome once again, friends. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll share for about 15 minutes more, and then, it's just wonderful. It'll be very nice to get to know you all through the interactions. If you have any questions, and like I was saying in the beginning, there is so much to talk about Swami Kriyananda ji because he was a living example. I had the very good fortune of getting to know him, about him, and then see him in a matter of few days. I had just finished reading the autobiography of a yogi in 2006. I was in New Delhi at that time. And just a few days later, I saw an ad in the newspaper with the master's picture from the cover of the autobiography. And right below his picture was the picture of Swami Kriyananda. It said, direct disciple of Yogananda in New Delhi, launching the Bhagavad Gita, national launch of the Bhagavad Gita. Well, the autobiography of a yogi that I had read, there are so many, it's in the public domain, as we know. So many publishers in India, more than 100 publishers print that book. So I had not known of Kriyananda ji through the version I had read, but just seeing his picture emanated, or I had the same feeling that I had when I read the autobiography a few days ago. The book launch was not very far from where I was staying, so I went to see him. And again, the same deep divine feeling, the familiarity of I had experienced this reading the book, and here I am seeing it emanate, come through this direct disciple. So it was a living proof. I didn't need much convincing, you might say, of what was promised in the autobiography and what I was seeing from a man who had now, by then, practiced it for 60 years. And coming then to, then of course, I came to know of Ananda. I joined the work in Gurgaon. Swami Kriyananda ji asked me if I would go to Pune, where I have been since then. Right now, also, I'm sharing from Ananda Sangha, Pune. It's a city very close to Mumbai. But I started by sharing that we could talk about Swamiji later too, because he was that rare being who had the hunger, as he himself said. He said, I was 22 years old when I met Yogananda ji. And he said, had my meeting with him been delayed even by a few days, and his voice would crack when he would share this, he said, I would have died. Then he would joke. He said, I don't know what my cause of death would have been declared because a 22-year-old just doesn't die like that. But he said, I was so desperate, which is that conveys he was from a wonderful family, as we know. He was very well educated. He was talented in many different things. He was not a person who didn't know how to make friends and such. I mean, on every level, his life was what most people would say complete. But that missing component of, as he would say, search for peace or search for truth is something that was promised through autobiography. He met Master, he was accepted, and we all know that. So it's a very interesting thing that it's important for us to understand that because today's topic is receptivity or the Guru. God sends the Guru into our life. So, on one level, God is ready to give. Guru is a clear instrument. In this case, it was Yogananda ji. He was an avatar. He was ready to give. What was and what still always remains is your and my part of what is receptivity, how much do I want, and how do we go about it? How did Swamiji do it, and how did the other masters do it? So let's get into that subject then. Now, I'll give just a few lines on the affirmation of our of the week, which was work. And we all find ourselves serving at a center. We are serving in our personal lives, perhaps having profession of sharing in one form or another. And over there, Swami is trying to say that while we are living, while we find ourselves in the body with an ego, in circumstances where we have an exchange with people, why not do the best job we can? Now, it's a blessing, of course, if people serve that way. This evening, interestingly, I had the same topic for Pune. So I was sharing a story that many years ago I found myself, being a young doctor in training, 3 years of residency. I was practicing or learning, I should say, surgery. And we would get 2 weeks off every year. That was our holiday. But I found myself enjoying my work so much uh, that in those 2 weeks, in the first year and second year, after that, then I joined Ananda. I signed up for those 2 weeks to go and serve in remote missionary hospitals in India. And it was, even to my mind, little unreasonable. My friends, colleagues, parents would say, "Come on, you have this is a vacation, this is a break. You could catch up on sleep, you could rest, you could travel somewhere." But the interesting thing was my work itself. Even when I met Swami Kiranandaji, I said, "Sir, I love what I'm doing. But I love what you are doing much more. It's the more complete picture. It makes sense to see healing, death, life from the lens that Yogananda has shared. But the point is, when we serve in those manner, in that manner of giving our best, people may sometimes call us fools. I remember a friend, a senior, once requesting me if I would cover for him on a certain shift. And I said, "Sure, sir." And I was with a colleague, and after our superior left, my friend looked at me and he said, "You're a fool. You keep saying yes when people ask you if you can do their work." And I just said to him, I said, "I'm not a fool." I said, "For one, he is busy, his exams are coming, he's married." I said, "I have none of those challenges right now. Besides, I told my friend, I said, I'm trying to see what are the upper limits or octaves of willingness. Because I was experiencing, I'm sure we all know this, that the more we can, like Swami says, give ourselves, not maybe to a superior, not necessarily to an institution, those are forms. But if we are really serving God over there, then we find that the giving itself becomes a gift and through which we start receiving. And so, anyway, I was sharing then a story which I won't go in right now, but I went to the missionary hospital. I ended up doing a surgery. I was trained as the first assistant in, but there was no doctor in sight. It was the middle of the night. I ended up doing it. It was a success. But the satisfaction I got was not so much from, again, learning a new procedure or being able to do it successfully. Somehow the flow of love, because on one level, it could have been a medical legal case if I'm doing a procedure for which I'm not trained. But it was again a remote hospital, it was an emergency requirement. And I said, I took Master's name and I said, let's do this. And like Swami used to say, you find that God, why don't you do this through me? I cannot do it. I know the basic things. I was the first assistant in this procedure, so I had always stood on one side of the patient. But this time the main surgeon was not there, so I stood on this side, and by God's grace it happened. But the point I was sharing is the feeling of love, kinship I felt with the patient was something that really was heart opening for me. So those are, among the many benefits of seeing our work in that divine way. Now, how do we receive? What are the things Swami Kriyanandaji and Master have said? Well, first of all, like I said, it depends on the level of our hunger. Many a times people are just fine. If we ask them, "Are you happy? Are you content?" They'll be like, "Yeah, just like everybody." But if we have that unquenchable hunger, like Swami used to give the example of a restaurant, he said, you could be living next door to the world's best restaurant. People are flying from all around the world, queuing up, booking a table months in advance. But you look outside your window and you say, "Well, that's interesting. Good for them." Simply because we are not hungry. And in the case of food, that's fine. But Kriyanandaji said sooner or later, we have to find or aspire towards a joy which is unceasing, night or day. It comes from God, it is ever new. And Master used to say, eventually, why not now? That if we can, first of all, prepare ourselves, that such a potential exists, and which again is a blessing to see our, I'm thinking of Jyotish and Deviji and many of our acharyas seeing Swami Kiranandaji reading about Master. Many of us, or perhaps most of us, none of us met Master. But when we think of that and we see a potential like that of joy and happiness and energy and calmness, then we say, I will do whatever this man is doing. And Kriyanandaji, as I read in those lines, he said the key is attunement, the key is receptivity. The reservoir of God's joy is there. How can you and I increase it? Now, in the beginning, if you see the Indian caste system also, this interestingly relates to both work as well as joy or increasing our receptivity. There are four essential stages. The first one is what is called a Shudra consciousness, that the famous statement, ignorance is bliss. Why think about these matters? Why bother? If I just have a nice couch, if I can be comfortable, if nobody asks me to do anything, that is bliss in my opinion. Many a million, perhaps a billion of billions of people fall in that trap right there. That if I had nothing to do, I would be happiest. Well, anybody who's tried it knows that 3 days, 4 days in the bed, a week, you're going to want to get up, take a shower, go out, see the world, meet people, see what it's about, do something. Because that passive receptivity, that I'm just going to sit over here and lay it on Divine Mother, bring it on. Because, devotees, as devotees also, we may face it sometimes. I remember again, like seeing Swamiji, you knew he was a man of God. And a part of the mind says, well, if he has God, he can give it to me. Why do I have to do the work? But it doesn't work like that. Like even Master told Swami Kriyanandaji one time, how can a little cup contain an entire ocean? And so what he was saying is, if you keep expanding your heart, I will fill it that much more. And that is the secret of receptivity. So when we are in that Shudra consciousness and we realize this is not working, we say, okay, I'm going to do something for you. What do I get in return? There's more energy, there's more joy, a little bit more friendships over there. But we all, anyone who's done a job, you know that it reaches a point very quickly where you say, this was good, but now it's not serving me. I'm not feeling more joy through it. And Master says you move on to the third octave, known as the Kshatriya consciousness. And we practice that with our good friends, with colleagues also perhaps, with our family for sure. People may take it on and practice it for an entire country or for an idea, for a cause that I don't care about the returns. My happiness lies in giving my time, my skill, my energy, ultimately my life. I am willing to die, which is where the Kshatriya consciousness comes, that life has no meaning. I am not happy enough if I cannot be of use to other people. And Master says, once you've crossed that stage a few times in incarnation, actually, he says many times, then we enter the Brahman consciousness where the soul memory says, you are once again ready to do that for people. But the voice from within says, but who are they? Where does life come from? Where do I come from? Who am I? Who is my creator? Who is inspiring me? Why are these ideas coming to me? You see, there's a direction the soul is going towards now. It is going back to God. And once we are on that path, and all of us have crossed it, otherwise we would not be here, then Kriyanandaji writes in the essence of the Bhagavad Gita that a teaching comes, a quote comes, a book comes, a teacher comes. If our yearning is deeper still, a true guru comes. And once the guru comes, on one level, like that song says, night has flown, dawn has come, that the guru has come, God has taken such a keen interest, our devotion has drawn the guru into our life. But on the other hand, we would also know, friends, with some experience, that this tug of war starts between the soul and the ego. I was sharing this evening that I have a series of paintings from the life of Krishna and Radha, his foremost disciple, lady disciple. And it's very interesting. I bought that series after the artist pointed out a certain theme, directional theme in them. So Krishna, of course, would play the flute, and that flute, interestingly, signifies one of the interpretations. It signifies our spine, our chakras, those holes. That God's music and melody, God's song, as the Gita is known, it can flow through us if we allow it to flow through us. But the interesting thing is, Radha, when she saw Krishna, so in one painting, she's outrightly asking for the flute. And he's keeping the flute at a distance like this, and he's talking, and it's like, let's talk, but don't ask for the flute. Then in another one, she's trying to a little bit fool him and trick him and looking for the flute, but he's hidden it behind his waist. In the third one, she's a little bit like, flattering him and his looks, hoping that he'll become happy and then hand over the flute. But Krishna is wise; he's listening and he's still like holding the flute behind his back. Till finally, there's this beautiful painting where Radha has the flute and she's playing it, and Krishna is he's enveloped her. He's not touching her, he's not touching the flute, and he's got this beautiful smile that she got it. That she, instead of asking the Guru to passively lay it on us, he was the Guru, he was training her, and she took the training, she prepared herself in every which way to receive that song. And she got the flute, her spine. It's like Swami used to say, invite the Guru in your spine. I feel Master is doing the Kriyas in my spine. That why wouldn't we want Master's spine or Master's consciousness to become ours? It's a little bit like when Padre Pio, the great saint, was accused by somebody of trying to look like Christ, imitate like him, and project that onto people and his followers. His simple reply and explanation was, he said, it's not like that. I'm not calling myself a co-redeemer as he was accused of. He said, don't you understand? I have invited Christ and received him in myself. That what else would happen? Swami Kriyanandaji, I was at a tea in 2012 in Mumbai when somebody asked him that, Swamiji, you stayed with Yogananda just 3.5 years of your life. How did you end up writing 150 books about him? And Swami Kriyanandaji very simply said, you see, those were 3.5 years that I lived with him. And here's the important thing. He said, but I have kept up my communication with him for the last 64 years. Every day I have spoken to him. And then this was the important line he said. He said, now I don't know where Kriyananda ends and Yogananda begins. It's like that cup, which in 1948 Yogananda said to him, well, how can a little cup contain the ocean? Kriyananda ji, through his meditation, through his pranayam, through his prayers, and as he writes in How Do We Receive, he said, love him. Love the Guru for the qualities he's bringing. Invite those qualities, channel them, pray for them. Invite him in your body. When we energize, when we do Hatha Yoga, when we do the full yogic breath, Master said the physical body is compacted life force. After energization, we feel better, we feel lighter. We forget the body to some or the other degree. Aches and pains go away because we have invited energy, and we are, as we know, more energy aware. Same thing we do for the mind, for the emotions. If we are not willing to invite, Kriyanandaji said he would pray to Master. For decades he did this. May my actions reflect your actions. And he said that was not enough. So on his birthday, he one day changed it. May my thoughts reflect your thoughts. What an invitation. And he said after some years, he realized that was not enough. And he would say, Master, may my feelings, may my chitta, may my heart only reflect your feelings. And once again, if you met him, like I said, I had no introduction of him, but I felt the same thing I felt after reading the autobiography because the man was receiving and inviting that consciousness to the best of his capacity. And then why wouldn't God and Guru come? I'll close with this final story, which is from the Ramayana. And this is between Bharat, who was one of the brothers of Ram, Lord Ram. And Bharat, interestingly, is the only character in the entire Ramayana who is given the title Mahatma. Mahatma means great soul. And you'll see, I hope after this story why that was the case. To make a long story short, uh, Ram's one of his mothers, he had two mothers. I mean, he had one mother, but Bharat, his brother, had another mother. She had asked her husband for a boon that whenever she asks him for something someday, he would never say no. And he agreed to that. Well, one day she asked that the kingdom be given not to Ram, but to Bharat. The wish was granted, but in that sorrow, Dashrath, the father, left his body. Dashrath told, and secondly, she said, and Ram should be sent away for 14 years. Well, that was conveyed to Ram. Ram very happily, like an obedient son. And there was a divine plan behind this. We know the entire Ramayana happened primarily in those 14 years. So Ram is ready now to step into the forest for 14 years. Bharat heard about this. He, first of all, disowned his mother publicly. He said, this is not dharmic. Then he tells the family guru Yoga Vashishta, please bring the brother back home. He should be the king. Well, Ram is not agreeing because he has to fulfill his word. He's abiding by the law. Long story short, Yoga Vashishta at that time sees that Sita's father, Janaka, Janaka is there to bid farewell to his daughter, which he will not see for 14 years now. Yoganandaji interestingly explained that Lahari Mahashaya was Raja Janak in that incarnation. So Raja Janak is requested to solve this dilemma, and in short, he says that when law, which is Ram, and love, which is Bharat, come together, law holds the universe, but there is only one thing which supersedes law itself, and that is love. So for a moment, Bharat thought he's victorious. And he said, well, in that case, put the crown on Ram's head and let's go back. And Raja Janak says, I have not finished yet. For love to get that power over divine law, it has to follow one of its own laws of selflessness. He says, what can you do for your brother? You are professing such love. And Bharat says, right now I can give up my life in front of everyone for my brother. And Raja Janak appreciates that, but he says that, Bharat, is an easy thing to do. It is easy to die for the object of your love. What is harder sometimes is to live for your love. Since you are calling Ram your guru and the object of your love, stop telling him what he should do. Rather, sit at his feet and ask him what does he want you to do. And this is very important for you and me, friends, because remember when Master told Swami Kriyanandaji, you have great work to do. You will lecture, write, and edit. What was Swamiji's first response? Sir, I want to be a hermit. And Master said, you better learn to like what I'm telling you, because that's what you're going to have to do. Swami said his liberation depended on his guru's words. Intense activity and meditation in that order. The point is, when we are trying to receive from God and Guru, we have to resolutely keep our likes and dislikes away. Back to that story, Bharat took Ram's blessings. He took his sandals as a reminder. For 14 years, they say he thought of Ram, like Swami said, my thoughts, my feelings, my actions. He said, I am running it in your place. Don't delay even by one day. And that's how it turned out. And Swami used to say that this Ananda is not my creation. I have done it for my Guru. He has done it through me. It's my gift to God and Gurus. But it is for them, by them. So you and I are running a center, we are running our own lives, we are having our work, service, and professions. The more we can invite and receive in our meditation, in our energization, in our prayers, in our opening the heart, the more we will see that from good people. Already remember that caste system, we have reached a certain point. But that final leap, whether it was Bharat, whether it was Hanuman, whether it be any disciple, whether it was Kriyananda ji or Yogananda ji too, that final step only comes by the power given by the grace of one's Guru, combined as we know with the grace of God. And all you and I are doing is gradually, day by day, preparing ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually to let go of certain likes and dislikes and ask for the Master's strength. That I thought this would be easier, but this is harder than I thought. Help me, bless me, please do this through me, and we will see, as Larry Mahashaya said, Banat, Banat, Banjai. So many blessings to you, friends. And let's meditate just for half a minute. And then, if there are any thoughts or questions, I'd be very happy to take them. Let's sit upright, inviting the blessings of Swamiji and all our masters to help us remember to receive every day, evermore, and to channel those blessings in everything we are doing. Let's meditate for a minute. And let us now rub our hands once again, channeling the love and joy, the energy of the Masters to bless us in body, mind, and spirit, and to flow out through us, blessing one another out into the world. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Guru. Over to you, friends.
Jai Guru. So let's see if anyone has questions here. We have a microphone. You all know how, you know the routine. Anything you would like to say, you can introduce yourself to Aditya. Here comes Linda. Okay,
please.
Zuni, come to the microphone, please.
Hello, beloved Guru. Thank you for sharing so profound thoughts and feelings with us. Sometimes I feel like the receptivity goes a little bit with intuition, or what do you think about that, please?
Absolutely. Intuition is another form of receptivity. And as Swami Kriyanandaji explained, what works in, you might say, another time, Swamiji one time defined intuition very beautifully. He said it can be called refined reasoning, that we anyways reason, but sometimes we are not sure even after we made a decision. Whereas if it's refined, which is to say, if it's purified, if it does not involve the likes and dislikes, And those take some time. Let's say we're making a decision. We gently, keep, like I said, even if we are afraid of a certain outcome that may happen, God is our father and mother. Guru is on our side. If we can say, help me understand, give me the strength to understand. So if we can even, intentionally take the first step and keep, like Swami says, resolutely your likes and dislikes aside, then we see that such a heart becomes more and more pure, and we can feel that Divine Mother wants me to do this. But now that feeling is coming from a pure consciousness. It's not coming through the filter of the personality and our likes and dislikes. And then we take one step. And if it's feeling right, if it increases our joy, our gratitude towards God, our inner freedom, fearlessness, then we take another step. And that's how Swami said that you take one step and we start seeing God as the doer, that I am only an instrument. I spoke of that great saint Padre Pio. He was receiving, I believe, during World War II more letters than any country leader, any office in the world. Such miracles were happening by his name and his presence. And how did he see himself? As a witness, he used to say. When people said this happened, he would say, oh, yes, I witnessed it too. I have witnessed what God can do. So, God is the doer. God gives us the intuition, and then we serve as instruments. That's the whole play. And He gives us the energy, the courage. And when the results come, Swami said, God is the doer. So, you're absolutely right that our receptivity on a daily basis can be through intuition. Another thing, Swami used to pray every morning. He said, I pray to God through the eyes of my Guru, and I say, may thy will be done, not mine. Now that requires courage, but that also is again the deep hunger that I've enjoyed the journey so far, Mother, Divine Mother. What's in store for today? And you take every day. You say, Divine Mother, how would you like to lead my life? So that is intuition, which is receptivity.
How beautiful is that? Padre Pio, this is Supriya. Um,
Yes.
Padre Pio was one of my favorite uh, Catholic uh, that I knew and read books about him. But after I've been on this path, I'm okay. I'm Mike. Thank you. So after I got on this path, of course, someone brought up Padre Pio, the greatness that he is, and I was secluding one time in a friend's home. They were gone, and she had a VCR. Yeah, that way back VCR of
Yeah.
It said documentary. I think it said Padre Pio. Well, I loved it, so I put it in, and I tried to watch it with open eyes. And when he would say mass, he would just go into ecstasy, and just stand
Yeah.
there. And so I wound up closing my eyes, and then the documentary went on, and my eyes were still closed. And so anyway, I watched it a few times while it was there, sometimes with eyes open or closed, and it was just so inspiring. And the last thing
Uh,
I'll say is he was known for hearing his confessions in Catholic Church, to hear confessions of other
yeah.
people, right? They had to get absolution. And someone said to Padre Pio, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. He says, I've been practicing yoga. And that to him, because many people do believe that's not of God. And Padre Pio said, regarding your practicing yoga, keep doing what you're doing. He. So the great ones of all religions and no religions, they know the oneness, and they know the truth. No judgment on other religions. Yeah. Thank you. So we have
Beautiful. Thank you
Mike.
for sharing, Supriya.
We have Mike at the microphone.
Hello, I'm so glad to see you today, Aditya.
Hello, Mike. Mike and I were in living discipleship together in 2019.
Oh yes.
Yes, It was such a wonderful experience to be there with you and everybody. I wanted to ask about attunement for Ananda. What is attunement? How does someone new to the path begin to think about and experience attunement? And as one moves along, how does the attunement deepen? How does one begin attuning and then deepen attunement, and kind of what it is in terms of alignment to the teachings or whatever you want to say there?
That's a beautiful question. Thank you so much. And you've given me food for thought. I'm going to prepare more on that theme. Uh, now this morning we had our monthly satsang with Jyotish and Devi ji. They do one for India every month. And Jyotish ji's opening lines to us were something he had said at our annual spiritual renewal week, which we have started doing in India also. So last October we were together with him, where he had emphasized. He said today morning, again, he said the core of the teachings on our path is attunement to Guru. God exists. God sends us a guru, like we were saying when we start a teaching or a book or a teacher comes. Finally, a guru comes, and the guru comes in a certain way and in the world, and you and I are drawn in this case to our line of gurus and Paramhans Yoganandaji, and interestingly, Swami Kriyananda too. Swami Kriyanandaji said he was not a guru of the work. Our five masters are the guru of the work, but it was in 2012 in Pune, he said, I am a guru in the work, which is to say, he had become a saint as Master had said he would. Master said, you will find God towards the end of your life, and he was blessing and helping others. I personally do feel he was my guru because of certain interactions. Anyway, the point is attunement to Guru, as Jyotish ji was saying, is the core of the teachings. Now, how do we do that? Well, let's go back to this line by Paramhansa Yogananda ji himself. He said, to be in tune with me, serve my work. It's like, let's say, we are in a family, but if we never participate in how that house is run, how the family is run, what are we all doing, what's the next step within the family, we won't be in tune with what's trying to happen. Similarly, why did God send Yogananda ji? What is his mission? Why did he do what he did? And the more we think, see, and most importantly, participate through our seva, through our sadhana, through our supporting membership, through our all the things like that's why Master would say so confidently, even if you do 1% of what I'm telling you to do, you will find God. So that is attunement. That Master, I can do this, this, this. And like Swami said, why do only 1%? Keep the door open. Swami said, keep the door open. The more you see, the more you learn, the more you feel the need, the more there is a need out there in the world, address it. So I would say go back to that simple statement. And even a newcomer, I remember the first time I came to Ananda, I felt so much joy. I had hardly a job at that time, but I saw the donation box. Very instinctively, the hand went in the pocket. I pulled out all the money I had, put it in there. That what a wonderful thing these people are doing. I don't know their names. I don't know really what they do, but I can do this much today. Then I learned how to meditate. Then we do one thing after another. The second thing with which I'll close is a very similar statement that Swami Kriyananda ji said to Naya Swami Jaya and a few others way back in 1970 or 71 when Swami was emphasizing attunement to the masters and such. And Jayaji and a few others went to Swami and they said, Swamiji, we love Master. Absolutely, he's our guru. But we didn't meet him. We have met you. And we want to be in tune with you. Also, how can we do that? And Swami gave a very simple, beautiful reply. He said, look and see what I'm doing, trying to do. See what I'm trying to do and help me accomplish that. And now you can see, especially for Jayaji and others, whoever, I don't know who the others were, but when you do that for 55 years, 56 years in his case, or more, then you see that again, like Swami said, my actions, my thoughts, my feelings, my meditation. Meditation is a high form of activity. And as you asked, Mike, that in the beginning, we start with learning how to meditate, but with the years, the joy, the peace of meditation does become more and more of a, we start drawing more oil, you might say, out of that well. Well, that is service to Master. Or like Dr. Lewis, he said to Master when Master asked him, do you pray? And Dr. Lewis gave a very honest reply. He said, Sir, I'd like to think that I'm praying all the time. Which, of course, as an advanced disciple, he was doing that. And Master said, Yes, you are praying all the time, but please pray believing. And then another time he added, Pray in God, which is to say, that is deepening our attunement and our service to Guru also. That I will do outer things, I will contribute, I will cook, I will do the promotions, whatever Master's work is, and Master's work is everything. But I will also silently share God. And in that case, Dr. Lewis was saying, I'll pray for others. So anything and everything can be our way to attune more deeply. See what is your nature, be in touch with your people who have known you for a longer time, and keep going deeper in that direction.
Wonderful. See what I'm trying to do is what I heard that Kriyananda said, and share the 1%, the whatever percentage is whatever is right for you to attune in that way. And so thank you. It felt like it had a mini living discipleship today. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah. Does anyone online have a question? You know you're welcome to open your camera and your mic. And,
Maitreyi over here.
oh,
Hello,
Maitri's
everybody.
online?
Hello,
Oh,
everybody from Ananda Village.
Oh, is
hi,
that so?
sweetie.
How nice.
Yeah, we just moved here, Aditya. We've been here 2 weeks now. So
Congratulations.
we're in St. Francis House, if you know where that is on the
Yes,
other side
I
of.
do.
But I see
Beautiful.
many faces there that we haven't seen at Ananda Dallas for a little while. So I want to greet them too. And I just thought I'd make a little comment based on that attunement because it is such a key thing, attunement and receptivity, right? They're hand in hand. I just remember when I first got on the path up in Seattle, and I started meditating, and I, by God's grace, didn't understand it was necessarily God's grace, but it was certainly my blessing, was really able to receive and feel beautiful things in my meditation, that connection to God and what I came to understand as Guru, because I was brand new on the path. And I always felt a little bit on the outside because I didn't understand at the time that I was creating those barriers, that it was my inability to understand. I kept thinking in my mind, well, it should look like this. Maybe people should treat me this way. Or, these are little subtle things, but they were there, and it created a little bit of a barrier. And but my soul's yearning, which we all have, that is what continues to become greater and greater, and then God can work with us and pull us in more and everything. And for me, it was He brought me down to Ananda Village for a visit, and I got a big dose. And so everybody knows in Ananda, Texas, how I'm always been the big encourager of you got to come to the village and really see the bigger picture and feel it inside you of what it's like. And I'm extending, of course, that invitation again all these years later. But I just want to say that when I did that, and I went back to Seattle, I knew that my lifeblood, that my connection was service. It was a natural extension of that. And so, that first step of, coming into that understanding and realization, of course, was my meditation. And but to not stop there, you know, to just put a big toe in little ways. And I know, like in Texas, there's always wonderful opportunities and great satsang there. We just have to create the space to be able to uh, do there, to be present, to show up, right? And anyway, I
Absolutely.
just wanted to add that little comment. But it's so great to see you. I'm so glad you finally got to Texas. But I'm sure everybody there wants you there in person someday, especially Shreyam. So,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that,
so
Maitri. And you're absolutely right. You know, Swamiji, as we may have read in that one of the letters in his book, In Divine Friendship, Swamiji writes that for anyone who is interested to know what was Yogananda's vision for communities, he said, I invite you to Ananda Village and the other communities I have started on the West Coast because they were the first ones Swami personally guided them, and then the work has spread across the world now. So it's always good to come back for multiple reasons to where it all started. It's a great place for seclusion, reflection, recharge, and then we come back and serve where we have to. And this is the centennial, so I'll be coming myself in May and through July for 2 months. I'm seeing so many friends, you know. I'm seeing Arati, Dr. Pushpendra,
Yeah.
and also, as far as my eyes allow me, Satyaki, it was wonderful to see you. I thought you were at the village last time. That's when we had met. And of course, Shreyam. And yes, I'm looking forward to coming in person and meeting more people from our spiritual family. It's nice. But yes, Arati and Pushpendra, are you in Texas now?
Yeah, that is a mystery that I need to update you. I think the last time we met was when you were in Sacramento, Ananda,
Yeah.
Sacramento. And you know that, Aarti was a pediatrician in India and she was practicing, basically working on getting her, medical licensing and everything. So there's a place here, a city called as Amarillo in Texas. This is where
Yes.
she got, just 6 months back, she basically got selected for pediatric residency. So
Oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. So she has come here and she started doing her residency, and automatically I had to sort of basically just come somewhere close to her. So I'm just working on that, and I'm pretty much on the closing basically phases of basically getting the visa and all those things sorted out. So so she lives in Amarillo. This is like 5 or 5.5 hours drive to Dallas, and we
Okay.
have been to the data center a few times. We try to basically online, we try to basically do all the Sunday services and everything. So this is just an update for you because I know you will be wondering okay, what happened to Sacramento and how come this is Texas and everything. And so it was very nice to basically see you connect. Thank you so much for all the inspiration and the guidance. And and there's just one thing I wanted to basically share. And I did my residency in New York, in Brooklyn, New York, and at that time, Rhode Island Center was the center, which was like 3 hours drive and close to when I was training. And so in my weekends, whenever possible, I used to go there and attend the Sunday services. Swamiji visited the Rhode Island Center a few times, and so there was once when he was there, and he had a Q&A session, question and answers and everything. And I'm pointing out this thing because this is very, very relevant to the topic today. So one of the devotees asked him the question, how does one develop receptivity on the spiritual path? And the first thing Swamiji said, and I always remember, probably for the longest time, he did answer the question. He said, this is a very important question. In fact, this is one of the most central, themes of for any spiritual aspirant. Mind you, this is a very important question. And then he get a beautiful answer for that. This is something I will encourage. Try to get hold of that. I think probably get in touch with the Rhode Island people or this that Q&A. I think thing is there online, whatever. The gist of what I remember, I'm just going to point it out because these things are very central. And he said that the first thing one has to remember is that if you're trying to fill a cup, that cup has to be facing up. It cannot be down. So in your heart, go and look inside, that first see where your cup is. This is like an ongoing process because the ego will always turn the cup down. You try to fill it up and then you basically the ego will turn it down. So always go inside and look where how is the is the cup facing up. Now then the second thing is that the cup, when you have the cup in front of Divine Mother to fill it with the nectar of divine guidance and everything, look inside the cup and see that is it already filled. Is there something inside the cup which is sort of oh, this is already three-fourths filled with something, and that again the ego will always try to do. There's something there always inside. So whatever the Divine Mother is trying to fill it, it basically fills a little bit, and then the cup overflows. So always look at is there something all, and if it's there, then you yourself turn it down, empty it, and then turn it up, so that Divine Mother can actually fill it up. And so this was something, and then he these are the points, and he said that always remember that whenever Divine Mother is giving you some guidance or whatever, don't take it like a frog, that somebody's trying to beat the back of the frog, okay, I'm trying to whip you up or whatever, do something, because remember God is your friend and he is trying to help you. He's not trying to punish you or do whatever, maybe there's difficulty or whatever, but he's your friend. He's so that is another point I remember. And the last thing he said, as you mentioned, the likes and dislikes. This is the biggest, things that basically obstruct our receptivity. And so he was mentioning about that exercise that he has talked so many times, that when you retire at the end of the day, make a bonfire. This is basically just taking out those likes and dislikes. Make a bonfire throughout the day. See, what was those chords which are basically clinging to your heart, and this thing, take those, cut them with a mental scissor or something, offer them into the bonfire. And this exercise he suggested that at the end of the day just do it. And of course this is, I don't know what I remember what he said, but I never forgot that. And so I will just encourage everybody, if you can get hold of that Swamiji's Q&A thing when he was there in Rhode Island and this question was asked. And I know this is one of the pearls that I have basically some things are there that you never forget, these things, and this is this is the core of the whole thing basically. So I just want to share. I'm so sorry if I basically
Not at
spoke
all.
much, but
Not
just
at all. Pedra, thank you. Those were beautiful points, and I'll write to Kyle right after this talk. I'll drop her a message, and once I get the video, I'll share it with Shreyam. And of course, if anybody else also knows which video this is, please do share it with me. But thank you. Those were very beautiful points, and thanks for adding.
Thank you, Pushpendra.
you're welcome.
Thoughts?
And
Supriya, Shreyam, any thoughts, or shall we close? I'm in no
I
hurry,
wanted to,
but I just want to ask you all.
yes, ask us.
Any thoughts or whatever?
Oh, I don't know if you know that Satyaki and Ishwari are traveling around in their RV, and that's why they're in Dallas. And
Okay.
they have shared a musical weekend, beautiful and fascinating about Swamiji's music and a lot of the power of it, as we already knew, but now it's just amazing. Oh, there you go. Well, that's why they're here. Unless we can entice them to stay longer, I mean, we'll see. So, thank you so
Thank you
much
so much, Taji.
for being with us, for blessing us.
Thank you to Swamiji. Thank you to all our masters. Thanks for the invitation. And I look forward to seeing you or all who are coming to Ananda village. And yes, someday, God willing, to Texas too. I do have some friends from my medical school time in different parts of Texas. So let's see when is it trying to happen. Certainly will
Now
be
you
my
have more
blessing.
friends. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
do have a family now.
Yeah.
yeah, we are here. You see our altar, and God willing, we'll be somewhere in Texas. We're on our 34th year now, so
Wow,
whew,
how beautiful.
I know. By Swamiji.
Okay, friends, have a beautiful day and week ahead.